Well, we will call Tuesday, August 30th, FARGODOME Authority meeting to order. With that, we have the agenda in front of you. Are there any additions to the agenda? Hearing none, I
Move to
would...
accept. Second.
First by David, second by Rick. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Then you have the minutes in front of you. So if there are any corrections or changes, if not, I'll entertain a motion to accept.
Move to approve.
First by Nancy, second by Troy. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, is there any old business to be brought in front of the authority? Hearing none, we'll go to new business and we'll start with the general manager's report. Rob.
All right, thank you. As always, financials are on page 4. As it's been, the month is on the left-hand side of the page. Does that mean debit? And the year-to-date, 7 years, is the credit on the right-hand side of the page.
It's the television.
So this is for the month of July. So for the month of July, we had a budget of 9 events with 16,500 in attendance. We had actual attendance of just shy of 19,800. We had direct event income about 16,500 deficit compared to a budget of 1,700 surplus. So we had total event income of $228,000 compared favorably to the budget of $210,700. However, on the expense side, we had expenses of just about $512,000 compared to a budget of $460,500, so about $50,000 above budget on that, which created a net deficit for the month of just about $175,000 compared to a budgeted deficit of $126,000. As we go through here, it's the concert. We had Machine Gun Kelly. That was about $40,000 below budget. As we talked about, the attendance was great at 9,100 estimated attendance for a Wednesday in the summer in Fargo, North Dakota for that genre. I think is a fantastic number. Tour was very pleased. Promoter was very pleased. We had strong per caps, food and beverage, and merch. But obviously concert deals are strong this year. So when you compare it to budget, everything adding up, and that the show was a co-pro, it came in less than budget. However, we did make money. That's not a loss on the show. That's just comparative to budget. And then the amateurs, the USA Wrestling, very strong attendance. I think everybody wanted to come back, had good ancillary revenue, both food and beverage wise and merch sale wise on our percentage there. As well, this year, our food and beverage department did all of the backstage catering or the VIP catering for their tournament volunteers and such. So that also had a revenue increase there. And then the meeting rooms, we were busy with the meeting room side of it. RDO was up here for a couple days and had a good event, so we were above there. On the expense side, full-time labor was above budget, both with overtime during the month, very long time as we finished up the turf project and then kind of compressed our normal 3 to 6 day setup of USA Wrestling into 2 days, so we had more labor involved there. A long 10-day stretch of USA Wrestling, and then a quick changeover into Machine Gun Kelly. But I think there's a little bit of timing in that as well. And then the operations building was busy, and so the lights were on a lot, the air was on a lot, almost the entire month as we were going through. So we had a very large steam and electricity bill, both with rate increase and usage on both sides. Any questions on the month of July?
Do you think wrestling was a one-time deal? Double the profitability, go back to historical? Hard to say.
Well, and it was double the profitability, but part of it was because we introduced a whole new revenue stream from the catering side of things. So that played a significant role in the overall revenues and profitability of it. As far as parents coming out and still spending, let's hope so. I mean, I know it's here for at least 2 more years, I believe is what the contract calls for. Again, it's a huge event for the city and the hotels in certain areas of NDSU, the two entities that do most of the legwork in the building, the FARGODOME and NDSU Athletics. It's not as good, but obviously it was better this year.
Yeah.
So that's a positive.
We'll wait and see Susan's budget.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we budgeted like.
Oh yeah. Right,
We always
That's good.
We always make it at least 2 to 3 years before we call it a trend on our end. Ooh, look at that, it was around. But so let's hope so. But I think again with the addition of the catering and the tweaking on there, that can be helpful. So year to date, we've had 58 events, attendance of just under 227,000. We have had total event income of $2,082,000 compared to a budget of $2,028,000, so about $54,000 above budget there. As we talked a lot about it a lot, the indirect expenses, a lot due to heating and cooling or energy usage, but 2.85 million there compared to a budget of 2.675, so about 195,000 above budget there. So we're still at a surplus through the 7 months of 172,300, but it is somewhat below the budget of $320,000. Questions?
Mr. Chair, at the Finance Committee, the financials for year-to-date and month ending and year-to-date were accepted. So at this time, I make a motion to accept the July 22nd and the year-end financials as presented.
All right.
Second.
Which one,
Roll call.
Dave? Or we're
That's
gonna go with
Blake
Blake
today.
then. I know. All right.
Dan?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Blake?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
And again, just two real quick notes on the financials moving forward. We're looking at projections lightly. Nobody, everyone wants to look at them, but obviously we've run through all of our budget concerts now. We still have Greta Van Fleet, so that number will get a little closer to positive on that. With the start of the NDSU season, it looks like ticket sales are pretty strong, so that's great. To hear that, expectations, I think they're a little high, I don't know, as far as maybe moving on past the regular season. And unfortunately, we just don't have control when tours such as Maroon 5 decide to cancel or drop down their entire North American tour, so that we can prepare and try to do everything we can, but some things are just outside of our control.
All right.
Moving on then to page 11, past and upcoming events since our last meeting, which was July 26th, as we mentioned, just going into Machine Gun Kelly. We did have Machine Gun Kelly, as we talked, 9,200 people or so, great crowd for a Wednesday night in Fargo in the summer. Moved out of that, had some outdoor activities, as you can see, with Fargo Fire using parking lots and Blues Fest using parking lots. Just to point out, that August 12th was going to be the Maroon 5 date, but didn't happen, which brings us to today. So August was a bit slow event-wise in the building, but a lot of time spent getting things ready, making sure that we're putting our best foot forward for the upcoming NDSU football season that starts this Saturday. Any questions, comments, past events?
Just out of curiosity, for a show like Machine Gun Kelly, where it's maybe not mainstream for Fargo, how big of a market area do those 10,000 people come from?
We still pull from about 90 to 100 miles for a lot of that. I'd say for this show, we definitely stretched that for where our marketing dollars went. Now, I don't have like the zip code reports of some of the farthest ones, but they drove. I mean, they came from kind of all over, so.
We typically say about 100 mile, which puts us Alexandria, a little past Jamestown, Brookings, kind of, and then up in right up, basically to the border. But this type of show, particularly, I don't believe he played Winnipeg. So has a tendency to come down. A zip code report's going to show you a lot from the East Coast and the West Coast. They're not coming. Those are resellers. But it tends to go, and I think we probably went a little bit further into Bismarck and down to those areas with advertising for this show. All right, moving forward then, as we talked about a little bit, this Saturday is the home opener for NDSU football against Drake. Things are coming together well. It is a little challenge on a Labor Day Saturday for staffing, but overall, I would list what we're looking at staff levels wise for NDSU football as okay to good. Could use a few more bodies in event services, ticket taking, things such as that, or ushering more so. But they'll have their plan together. We'll just be a few more relocates. And on the food and beverage side, we're pretty good. We did have one group forget that it was Labor Day weekend and said, "Oh, I guess we won't have anybody." Mm-hmm. So doing some adjusting there, but the vast majority of the stands will be open, and we'll be ready to go. And I think it'll be good, and it'll be a good test. Obviously, with the first time we're having alcohol sales, beer sales at an NDSU football game. We do sell alcohol a lot at most of our events, but obviously it's the first time at NDSU, so there's always tweaks and questions, and so our plan will start off with it just draft for these first 2 weeks, get a feel for it, and then add as we go. And when we hit the conference season October 1st, we'll hopefully have some changes and some different things as we're getting more equipment in and getting more equipment ready and supplies ready to go. From there, we move right into the next game, NDSU's second game against North Carolina A&T on next Saturday, the 10th. And then we have some stuff in our meeting room the week of the 12th with the Engineering and Tech Expo, basically the NDSU Fall Career Expo, through their Career Center on NDSU the week of the 19th, finishing up with Greta Van Fleet on Friday the 23rd, taking us up to the next meeting on Tuesday, September 27th. Questions on any of that? All right, that would conclude my report.
All right, we will move on to 3B in committee reports.
All right, thank you. We got through B1A, and that was the financials. So moving on to project updates. On page 15, Rob provided an update on the turf project. The project is complete with the exception of the north winch motors. Still need to be replaced. Loading dock trench, this project is in progress. The area in front of the large overhead door has been poured and is in process of curing. Keyless entry project, the project is nearing completion. And then Rob just shared some additional information of the hiring status of part-time employees and preparing for selling alcohol at the upcoming NDSU events. Item C, the escrow balance performance, that wasn't available at the time, so was not brought forth. And then additional items, there was no additional items discussed or reported at the Finance Committee. So that would conclude the Building and the Finance Committee report.
All right.
Move to accept.
Move to accept. All right.
Dan?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Blake?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Troy?
Yes.
All right. Next, number 4, NDSU operating lease agreement.
All right, I did not send this out to everybody because I really didn't feel it needed to, and so if you disagree with that, I apologize. But just the update is you approved the minutes from last meeting, so if you remember, you approved the language of the operating lease agreement as the red line that you reviewed at that time. All red line changes were accepted and signed, so I have the signed lease agreement from NDSU here for signature by the FARGODOME Authority President and the attest by the Secretary of the FARGODOME Authority, which will then be sent on to City Commission for mayoral signature. It's sent to the mayor's office for his signature. But it was exactly how the wording is exact. I did review it too, exactly how it was approved at last month's meeting. So more of an informational and just official to get there. I do not really think it needs to have official. You certainly can take another vote, but you already did vote to to accept the language at the last meeting.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Any
Sounds good.
questions? Nope. All right. Next on the list, additional items. Is there any additional items?
Nice
We're
work.
gonna get you out of early. With that, we will adjourn the meeting.